Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kylene, and if you're new here, thank you so much for watching this video. I really quickly wanted to start off by thanking my friend Alyssa for shouting me out. And if you guys are here from her, it seriously makes me so happy. But she's just the sweetest girl ever, and she told me she wanted to like include me in her video because she just like likes my content, and we've just become friends over Instagram, and I don't know, it just made me so happy. So if you're from her, thank you so much for coming by. But today I am going to be filming my third trimester update, which honestly is just like insane that we are at this point to do this, because I am 36 weeks today, which means I'm 9 months pregnant, and within 1 week he'll be fully cooked, and at any point after that, if he comes, there'll be no like health issues or anything like that. Everything will be fully developed. So that is so insane. So if you guys haven't seen my first or second trimester video, I did film those as well. So I will have those links down below if you guys want to watch those before or after this video. But like I said, today I am currently 36 weeks pregnant, and I have been documenting all of my symptoms week by week since I got pregnant. So I'm gonna just be reading them off of my phone. I'm gonna talk about weight gain, my bump, or I'll show you my bump. I'm gonna talk about stretch marks, and then I'm also gonna share like some questions I got on Instagram, as well as like the things I have left to do before baby comes, to just like fully prepare for him. Okay, so we're just gonna jump right into it. So starting out was week 28, which it was a very emotional week for me. If you guys don't know, I have gestational diabetes, and this was the week that I failed my 1-hour glucose test. And I definitely started this trimester off like very upset and just like discouraged, and I did an update on this as well, so if you guys want to see it, you can go see all my emotions there. But it did not make me happy starting off. We did have an ultrasound at 28 weeks, which I have the little pictures here, so I'll show you guys them as well. But this was like the first time I felt like we could really tell like that he was like a human. This middle one is like my favorite right there. And he just like didn't look as like sickly. He was weighing 2 pounds 11 ounces. He was in the 58th percentile for weight, and he was in the 76th percentile for head. So he had a very big head. But this was also the first time that I had woken up in the middle of the night from him kicking me, which is so crazy because like now I wake up all the time when he's kicking me, especially when I'm on my left side. And so that, yeah, I just felt like that was the first time I actually noticed the movements while I was sleeping. So that's really cool. I'm not gonna go too into this week because I feel like I said, my update video on the fact that I have gestational diabetes, I did that already. So if you guys are curious, you can watch that too. Okay, week 29 is when I had the 3-hour test, the dreaded 3-hour glucose test, and it was pretty bad, as they say. It wasn't like I felt super sick, but it was just very long. You can't leave the office. You have to get your finger or your blood drawn 4 times. They give you 100 grams of glucose instead of 50, so that really sucked. And again, I went over this in that video too, and so I won't go any like too crazy into this, but for symptoms, I also said that I finally felt his hiccups for the first time, and I was getting a lot of Braxton Hicks. So this is when my Braxton Hicks started, and I will like update you guys with each week, but that has been like my biggest symptom this entire time, and I've had them pretty frequently since week 29. Okay, so like I said, week 29 was the first time I felt it, but then week 30, I wrote that I had a lot of Braxton Hicks. So when I'm talking a lot, like I would say I would have 20 plus a day. Sometimes in an hour, I'll have like 5 to 10. And I thought that was normal, to be honest. And the first time I felt it, I was just like, oh, like I just feel like my stomach's tight. Like they're not painful, but you definitely know that like something's going on. And I just kind of like kept going. I didn't really say anything to my doctor or anything like that. I wrote, when laying on my left side in the morning, he likes to punch my sides, and I picture him being pinned. So wrestling is something that's like super big with like Nathaniel's family, and so that's why I like make that analogy. But when I lay on my side, I still feel this. Like it's like he's kicking back and forth between the sides of my stomach. So we have had ultrasounds, and she's told me that like his butt is on my left side and his legs and hands are on the right side. So when he's pushing and kicking, I'm feeling like his butt on the other side, and it just like literally bounces back and forth. It's seriously the weirdest thing ever. This was also the first week I started checking my glucose levels. So I had to start checking them 4 times a day, fasted after breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I didn't have a single elevated number. So that was like encouraging, but it was also frustrating because I felt like there was a lot of stress around this. And that is still like kind of how I feel to this day. I still don't think I have gestational diabetes. I rarely have an elevated number, and it just brings like a little bit of extra anxiety and stress having to check my blood all the time, but I'll get into that in a little bit. This was also the first time I felt him kicking my ribs. Luckily, I have a pretty long torso, so I haven't had a lot of discomfort in my ribs, but I could tell he was finally getting big enough to like still kick my lower stomach and my ribs. And then I also got my fundal like measurement, so they measure your belly to see like how far along you are, and it was 29 weeks at 30 weeks, so just like a week behind. Okay, week 31, I wrote my veins were crazy. And guys, this is still true to this day. I have the craziest veins on my stomach and my boobs. I know the boobs is like super normal, but my stomach, like I just feel like it's like sheer. Like the whole thing is just covered in veins. You can see literally every single pathway. It's insane. I also wrote that he's having hiccups multiple times a day, and then I'm having lots of Braxton Hicks, and this is the point where I was starting to get a little concerned. I just felt like they were a lot, and so I was asking my sister-in-law, and she was like, I never really even noticed them at that point. And so I had my 32-week appointment the next week, so in my mind I was like, okay, I need to tell them because this is quite a bit. I also documented my weight gain at this point, so at 31 weeks I was weighing 175.7, which means I was up 25 pounds. 31 and 5 days, my weight was 173.1. So when I filmed the last update video at 28 weeks, I had already gained 25 pounds. And so this is something that I've noticed since tracking my glucose and like my blood levels, is I haven't really gained any weight since then, which is honestly a blessing in disguise. To this day, I have gained 28 pounds. And so for the past, 8 weeks, I've only gained 3 pounds. And so I just thought that was super crazy. But yeah, my weight just fluctuates between like 177 right now and like 178.5, and at this point it was fluctuating between 175 and like 173. And I don't say this just to like, it's not a big deal, like whatever I gain is what I gain, but I just like thought it was really interesting. And for me, weight gain is something that I like to kind of talk about, and I like to see where other people are at, so I really just was curious. So if this is not the same for you, honestly, I like owe it all to checking my blood sugars, because I have had to like monitor how many carbs I have. So clearly that has like cut down the amount of like bigger meals I've had. I've really been eating the exact same things. I've just been watching the portion of carbs. But I do think it's gonna make my like journey a lot easier for postpartum, because I have not gained as much as I would have if I wouldn't have been diagnosed with this, because like I said, at 28 weeks I had already gained 25 pounds, and so at that rate I was going like at 50 pounds plus. So I'm very thankful for my diagnosis for that only reason. Okay, week 32 we had another ultrasound because of the gestational diabetes. From week 28 I've had to have one every 4 weeks to do a growth scan, just to make sure he's not getting too big. That's a complication with gestational diabetes that they're concerned of, where his shoulders will get too big and he won't be able to fit through my birth canal, and I would have to have emergency C-section. So I do have ultrasound photos from that. These are probably my all-time favorite photos that we have, because I just feel like you can really see him. And then there's this one too, which I really like. And then this one, he's like blowing his face or his like cheeks, which I think is so cute. At this point, at 32 weeks, he was weighing 4 pounds 5 ounces. His head was down, feet was in my ribs, which was confirmed by the ultrasound and my feelings. He was in the 61st percentile, 86th percentile for head. So both of those went up a little bit. The head was like 10 more percentile, which I was like, awesome. At this point, I was still weighing 175 pounds. I wrote that kicks are getting hard where they shock me or kind of feel shocking uncomfortable. So like there's sometimes where he'll kick and like I feel he's like getting underneath my ribs or underneath my hip, and it just like jolts my body because it's like not necessarily cute anymore. It's like a little bit painful. So I wrote that my ribs hurt in the night. So like I sleep on my right side quite a bit, and I would wake up and my ribs would literally just be like, they felt like they were bruised. Like there was just like so much weight and pressure on them the entire night. And then knowing like where he was in the ultrasound, his feet and his arms are kind of pushing on the other side. So that was definitely rough. I don't feel that as bad now, but it was definitely strong around this time. I said I can feel him moving so low, like legit in my vag. Which is, yeah, he's definitely head down. He's where he needs to be, but that was like crazy that I could feel him there and in my ribs. It just shows like how much they grow at the end, because you can feel them like literally in all parts of your stomach. I also documented that drinking coffee and going on walks gives me Braxton Hick contractions, which makes sense because both of those dehydrate you, especially being here in Arizona right now in the summer. And so this is where I kind of laid off coffee for a little bit. I'm back on my coffee game. It only lasted like 2 weeks without it, but I've learned like how to kind of manage that. So yeah, I told the doctor too about my Braxton Hicks contractions, and she offered to do a swab to see if I had any like fluid that would indicate that I would go into preterm labor. And I asked her if she thought it was necessary, and she said no, she wasn't like that worried. And so I didn't get it because I just didn't want to stress about that. I was only 32 weeks at that point, which is not good to have a baby that early. It would definitely be a preemie and a NICU baby, and I just like didn't want to add to the stress. And I feel like stress in the body like is what kind of causes more issues. So I passed on that, and I'll get back to that here in a second with the next few weeks. At 33 weeks, I weighed 177 pounds the first day, 176 the third day, and 175 the fifth day. See how like my weight just like fluctuates so much? I just thought it was super interesting to like watch what it was at, because I just like would have expected at this point in my pregnancy for it to like shoot up. I wrote on day 4, I had contractions all day, was laying down even while I was working, drank so much water, and anytime I moved it would tighten. So I remember this day. I had to edit a lot of sessions, and so I was literally laying 180 degrees. I had my computer in my face and I was just editing, and I was contracting the entire time. Like I literally had water, I was not moving, I was not hot, I was inside my house and I was contracting. So I was like, you know what, okay, I need to have her check me because I feel like I'm starting to get nervous. So at week 34, I had another appointment, and I did tell her what was going on, and she ended up checking me because my Braxton Hicks were so strong. She said it was concerning her, just that like I would go into preterm labor and like her red flag was up, so she checked me, and fortunately I was not dilated and my cervix was not thinned by any means, which was super just like good to hear, because like I said, I did not want to have like my baby early, and I didn't want to have a NICU baby. I feel like the hospitals are already crazy enough with COVID. Like I just did not want to deal with that. But she did tell me though that they won't let me go past my due date because I have gestational diabetes. They don't want him to get too big. So at the latest, if I don't have him before August 28th, they will induce me on the 28th, and then at latest I would have him the 29th through the 30th. But she also did say that she wasn't too concerned that this would happen to me because, well, that he would be too big, because my sugars were controlled, my weight was controlled, his weight only went up like 3%, I think. And so everything was looking good for her. And then she confirmed too that his head was down. So I also just kind of wrote some like symptoms that I was having, and I wrote that I wasn't as hungry this week. Sorry, my face is like super itchy from my hair. I remember just like feeling like forcing myself to eat because I had to check my blood sugar, but I think it's just because there's like literally no room in my stomach at all. It's like pushed up into my ribs that I just like don't really have an appetite, which if you know me, I am the hungriest person all the time. So it was really just kind of crazy to experience that. And then I also said getting checked made me feel swollen for days. So I don't know if any of you guys can like relate to that, but yeah, it definitely didn't feel good. Getting checked wasn't that bad, it's just like a lot of pressure, but the days after I was just really uncomfortable. So if you guys have had that happen to you, let me know. I don't know if that's normal. I told her at my last appointment and she just kind of was like, okay, so I don't think it's a big deal. Okay, we have 2 more weeks to go through. I hope you guys are still with me, but at 35 weeks I was weighing 177.8, so again only like 28 pounds gained. I decided to go running because it was super nice here in Arizona one day. It was rainy, and I went for a walk that's like almost 3 miles, and I was like, you know what, like I should just like do intervals of jogging. Guys, don't jog at 35 weeks if you have not jogged at all. As soon as I got home, I was in so much pain. I had to like lay down all day. Luckily it went away by the next day, but I seriously like was in so much pain. And when I was jogging, I knew I was gonna be in pain. I could feel the amount of pressure in my hips. But I ended up telling my doctor this at my last appointment, and she was just like, yeah, you are gonna send yourself into labor, like don't do that. Day 5, I documented my weight again. Clearly you can see I'm like really interested with my weight, but I weighed 177. I said there feels like there's no room sideways. He's bulging out the sides of my ribs, which I still like can feel that so strong. On the sides of my stomach, my placenta is like all in the front, so like all of my movement is on the sides, and it seriously just like feels like he's literally popping out like almost in my back. Like it's so far to the side, it's so weird. I also wrote that I've been contracting when I pee, and that happens literally every single time I pee now. Again, I asked my doctor and she wasn't really concerned about it, but it's super weird. I feel like it's because like my bladder's emptying, it contracts my uterus, and it just feels like super tight, especially like really low. Okay, week 36. So this morning I weighed 176.9. So again, 27 pounds. Like I really haven't fluctuated at all. It's so crazy. When we had our ultrasound yesterday, the baby was measuring 6 pounds 8 ounces and he was in the 59th percentile. His head was still big. It was in like the 80 something percentile. It was really hard for her to get an accurate reading because he was so low in my hips. When she first did it, she was like, oh yeah, his head looks really average. And I was like, are you sure? Like his head has been like almost in the 90th percentile every single time. So she had to redo it twice and she's like, yeah, it's pretty big. And I just forgot what she said. It was in the 80 something. My doctor did tell me that she doesn't think I will make it to 40 weeks, which honestly is like super exciting to hear because I don't really want to be induced. I would love to just go into labor naturally, and it just means we're that much closer to meeting our little boy, so that was really cool. She did check me and I was dilated like a fingertip, she said, which is like a 1/2 centimeter. Yeah, it wasn't a lot, but she was like, you definitely have thinned out and dilated more than the last time I checked you. And then I also just wanted to update on stretch marks because I haven't even talked about that, but I don't have any on my stomach, luckily. I have like a darker vein on my hip that I'm noticing that I think I just noticed like yesterday, but I do have a lot of stretch marks underneath my boobs. I did not have any boobs before I got pregnant, so now that they're super big, I can definitely see a lot of stretch marks on the underside. So that's kind of the update there. I think they're just totally genetic, and I also feel like drinking water and eating healthy fats helps, but I don't know. I think it's mostly genetic. Okay, hi guys. It is the next morning. I am editing this video and I realized I never did like a live bump shot, so don't mind the extreme change of appearance. I really did not want to get ready just to film a bump shot. So I'm just gonna show you guys in my pajamas, my hair up, my face not washed, like all that kind of stuff. So hi. This is what I look like straight on. You can tell these pants are like a little loose right here, but I am at 36 weeks 1 day today. And then from the side, this is what it looks like. And then I'll pull this down for you guys too. I always feel like it looks so weird when you have this like so low like that. Like it's like a crotch pants. But this is my belly, 36 weeks. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. No stretch marks like on my stomach or anything, but I'll show you guys that one like little mark I was talking about. I don't know if you guys can see that. It just looks like a deep like vein. I don't know. And then I'm not going to show you guys my boobs clearly, but that's where I have like some stretch marks is like in the underneath part there. So, but yeah, that is me at 9 months pregnant with little baby boy. Okay, so the last thing I want to talk with you guys about is the things that I have left to do. So I have like a little checklist here. So the first 2 things I've already done. One was finish the nursery, which if you guys want to see this full nursery, I do have a nursery tour. I will leave that link down below as well. The other one was pack your hospital bag, which I've done that too, and I filmed that too. So all these videos I've been mentioning, I will definitely leave below for you guys. So the rest on my to-do list is to pre-register for my hospital. I need to do that like this weekend because that's kind of stressing me out. We need to find our pediatrician. We have one that we're gonna use. I just need to contact them and like give them all of our information. I wanna make freezer meals because I just want to like have easy frozen dinners that we can just like throw in the oven, or crock pot meals. I need to call about a lactation consultant and see if my insurance covers it because I definitely want one to help us in the hospital. And then I just want to do like some things to like my body and my car. So I want to get an oil change, I want to wash my car, and then I want to get my hair, nails, and lashes done. So I know that may sound a little bougie to you guys. It's not necessarily for delivery. It's just like for feeling a little bit more put together once I do have him. So that is me justifying getting a pamper day. But honestly, it would just be great to have one. Oh, I forgot to show you guys the ultrasound from 36 weeks. It was really hard to get a good picture of him because he was so low in my hips. So I'm just gonna show this one right here. I don't know if you guys can see very well, but he's definitely chunky. He's kind of like curled up like this. Definitely head down. The ultrasound tech was like, yeah, there's no way up. He's where he needs to be. So that was really exciting. Okay, I feel like I just rambled on for so long. Yeah, literally 19 minutes. Awesome. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed just kind of seeing my journey throughout my pregnancy. I might do like one last update within the next 2 weeks. I don't know. I kind of have a feeling I'm gonna have him at 38 weeks. I don't know why, but I just do. So there's other videos that I want to film before then. So if I end up going to like 40 weeks, then I'll probably do like a last month of pregnancy update for you guys, just to like kind of tell you what to expect in the 9th month of pregnancy. But if not, you'll just kind of see what else I create. Now I'm rambling. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.